Hey adventurers, I'm Buddy, the marketing lead for Akupara Games, and today I'd like to introduce you to Nicora, the final playable character in Zoeti, our turn-based roguelike from Dusklight Games. Uniquely, Zoeti uses poker hands to determine the spells Nicora casts in battle, and if she wants the favor of all four gods in her pilgrim's quest, you're going to need to master her unique playstyle. Nicora has that big things come in small packages energy, you know, a powerful elementalist mage who can't ride the big kid rides at Disneyland. She can burn, sizzle, and freeze you with elemental damage, but she only has 40 HP, which is the meekest of all three adventurers in Zoeti. Now, she can cast fire spells, which burn a target, damaging them every turn. She can cast frost spells, which freeze a target, reducing their attack substantially. And she can cast thunder spells, which shock a target, allowing you to paralyze enemies for a single turn. Fire spells, they devastate your enemy when their defenses are down. Frost spells prevent your enemies from landing their attacks. And thunder spells stun enemies outright when they might otherwise put you in the ground. Now, elemental damage is only one facet of Nicora's overall playstyle, and there are a bunch of other mechanics that you can build her around, so let's talk about some of those. The first is overload. Some spells will overload Nicora, powering up her attacks, but also burning through her long-term resources. For every stack of overload, Nicora deals 10% more damage, but draws one fewer cards on the following turn. On top of that, some spells will trigger additional effects based on the power of your overload. For instance, when you have 3 stacks of overload, the spell Frost Pellet does triple its base damage. At the end of every turn, you lose 1 stack of overload, so if you ever feel like you're burning out, you can always cut back and refill your resources that way. Nicora also has the ability to channel chanted spells to unleash devastating effects on the fiends who hunt her. So here's how chanting works. Basically, when you start chanting, you are preparing a spell for the beginning of your next turn. When the next turn starts, that spell goes off. A chanted spell will always end your turn automatically, so make sure it's the last thing you want to do before ending the turn. And on top of that, your chanted spell will have a number tied to it. That number is the amount of damage you can take before the spell gets interrupted. Thunderstorm, for instance, has a chant value of 30, which means you can take up to 30 damage and you'll still start the turn by blasting your opponents with lightning. Chanted spells are really powerful, but they're all about timing. Find a turn where your opponent isn't threatening you and activate your chant. You'll start the next turn with incredible results. The last mechanic I'll mention in this video is Fragile, a debuff that Nicora can put on the bad guys. This is the playmaking ability for Nicora, enabling some nutty turns. Basically, each stack of Fragile will increase the damage taken by an enemy by 10%, but the moment they take that damage, Fragile wears off. It's good for 1 hit, so make it count. For instance, Nicora's Straight Flush ability, the most powerful ability she has at level 1, is Destruction Dance, dropping 16 stacks of Fragile on a target and, drawing you some cards and overloading you for your trouble. If you follow up Destruction Dance with a maxed out Blazing Shot, for instance, yeah, this one's not that hard to put together. Fragile can get very nutty very fast. There's a bunch more to Nicora, like how you can use Energy Shield to avoid taking damage, how you can align yourself to elemental domains, and how you can find elemental tomes which grant you elemental bombs. But we're out of time for all of that. Zoeti is out now on the Nintendo Switch and PC. If you'd like to learn more about the other 2 adventurers, Valentina and Alves, make sure to check out the spotlights I've already put together on the 2 of them. Otherwise, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button to keep up to date on all the trailers, deep dives, and more coming from me and your friends at Akupara Games. Cheers.